Welcome back to the Navy Channel. Have you ever seen sailors jump into the ocean from an aircraft carrier? It's an incredible sight. Hundreds of feet above the water, sailors leaping off the towering deck into the deep blue sea below. This is what the U.S. Navy calls a swim call, and it's one of the most thrilling and cherished traditions for sailors out at sea. For many sailors, swim calls are the ultimate break from the routine of life aboard a ship or aircraft carrier. It's a chance to feel the cool water, stretch your muscles, and momentarily forget about the rigors of military duty. But there's more to this tradition than just a refreshing swim. From the towering decks of massive aircraft carriers to the lower platforms of destroyers and cruisers, these jumps are as exhilarating as they are daunting, sometimes from heights as high as 60 feet. However, swim calls aren't without their risks. The ocean is vast and wild, and sometimes it reminds sailors just how dangerous it can be. In 2020, during what was supposed to be a routine swim call in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, a group of U.S. Coast Guard sailors had a close encounter with a 6-foot shark that turned their relaxing break into a harrowing experience. There's something inherently exciting and a little terrifying about jumping off a ship into the open ocean. The sheer size of the vessels involved, the height from which sailors leap, and the vast expanse of water below make each swim call a memorable event. But where did this tradition start? And how did it evolve from a practical necessity into a morale-boosting adventure? The origins of the swim call can be traced back to the British Royal Navy in the 19th century. Back then, fresh water was a scarce and precious commodity on ships. Sailors couldn't afford the luxury of daily showers, so captains would order the ship's anchors to be dropped in calm seas, and crew members would be instructed to jump overboard to clean themselves. This was known as all hands to bathe. Fast forward to the 20th century, and the tradition of swim calls was adopted by the U.S. Navy. As technology advanced and ships became more self-sufficient, the need for bathing in the sea diminished. But the tradition of swim calls lived on, now serving as a morale-boosting activity. In today's Navy, swim calls are a celebrated event. They usually take place during long deployments, especially when ships are stationed in warm international waters. It's a time when the ship's commander might announce over the intercom, "Swim call in 1 hour." And the excitement on board is palpable. The preparations begin well in advance. Safety is a top priority, and swim calls are no exception. Before anyone jumps in, the area is thoroughly inspected. The ship's captain or commanding officer checks the seawater injection temperature to ensure it's warm enough for a safe swim. Shark guards and snipers are strategically positioned on the deck, keeping a vigilant eye out for any potential threats. This might seem extreme, but when you're in the open ocean, it's better to be safe than sorry. Once everything is in place, the crew gathers on the flight deck or one of the ship's elevators. The height of these platforms can be as high as 60 feet from the ocean's surface, making the jump both exhilarating and a little bit terrifying. For many sailors, this jump is a test of courage, a moment they'll remember long after their Navy days are over. But swim calls are about more than just the jump. Once in the water, sailors can enjoy the simple pleasure of swimming in the vast, open sea. It's a stark contrast to the confined spaces of the ship and a rare opportunity to feel the freedom of the ocean. Now, swim calls are often paired with another naval tradition known as the Steel Beach Picnic. While swim calls offer a physical and mental break, Steel Beach picnics are all about food, music, and relaxation. The name Steel Beach comes from the fact that these picnics take place right on the ship's flight deck, which is made of steel. It's an informal event where sailors can unwind, grill some burgers, and enjoy a bit of normalcy in the otherwise high-stress environment of military life. These picnics usually happen on the same day as a swim call, creating a day-long event that boosts morale and fosters camaraderie among the crew. The smell of barbecue wafts through the air as sailors take turns jumping into the ocean and then coming back up to grab a bite to eat. Music blares from speakers, and for a few hours, the ship feels less like a war machine and more like a floating community. But not every swim call goes off without a hitch. In fact, there's one story that has become infamous in Navy circles, a stark reminder that while the ocean can be a playground, it can also be a dangerous place. Let's rewind to 2020 during a routine swim call in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The sailors aboard the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Kimball were enjoying a much-needed break. The weather was perfect, the water was warm, and the crew was having a blast. But then, something unexpected happened. A 6-foot shark appeared, making a beeline for the group of swimmers. Thankfully, one of the officers tasked with watching for sharks spotted the predator when it was about 30 feet away from his shipmates. He quickly alerted the others, and the crew sprang into action. Shots were fired at the shark to deter it from coming any closer, and the sailors in the water scrambled back to the ship. The situation was tense, but thankfully, no one was injured. The shark eventually swam away, and the crew was able to return safely to the ship. However, the incident left a lasting impression on everyone involved. It was a stark reminder of the risks that come with swim calls and the importance of remaining vigilant, even during moments of leisure. This incident isn't the first time a swim call has been interrupted by a shark, and it likely won't be the last. But it does highlight the careful balance that must be maintained between tradition and safety. After all, the ocean is a wild and unpredictable environment, and while the Navy takes every precaution, there's always an element of risk. So why do sailors risk their lives to jump off an aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean? The answer lies in the unique blend of adventure, tradition, and camaraderie that defines the Navy experience. Swim calls are more than just a chance to cool off. They're a celebration of life at sea, a moment of joy in the midst of duty. As we've seen, these events have a rich history, dating back to the days of the British Royal Navy. They've evolved over the years, becoming a beloved tradition in the U.S. Navy, often paired with the equally popular Steel Beach picnic. And while they can be risky, as the 2020 shark incident reminds us, the Navy takes every precaution to ensure the safety of its sailors. In the end, swim calls are about more than just jumping into the ocean. They're about the bond between shipmates, the shared experiences that create lasting memories, and the traditions that connect generations of sailors. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Navy swim calls. If you were given the chance to join a swim call, would you take the plunge? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all things Navy. Until next time, stay safe and keep sailing.